the street on the Underground. I mean, I was right in the middle of it. And then, you know, after the demise of Twisted, I sort of disappeared for a while, like disconnected, not completely, but you know, not as intensely into it as I was in the 80s. And now in the 90s, doing a metal show, being back out in the clubs, going around, I'm like back in the scene, loving what's going on, and being inspired by the bands who I inspired, which is kind of incestuous. I think you can have form children that way.
That's what down in the Southwest Island.
Yeah, hence the record, the form children. But you know, and I'm just, it's great, you know, to be, to just like be a part of a new front. And I call it metal. You know, call it what you want to call it. There's a lot of bickering about, you know, is metal dead? Is it really metal? It's alternative. To me, it's all metal. Rap influences the hardcore, the death, the alternative, the grunge. It's all part of the new metal scene. It's a new sound. You know, metal didn't sound in the 70s like it sounded in the 80s, and it don't sound in the 90s like it sounded in the 80s either. You know, it just keeps growing and mutating. Heavy metal is the cockroach of music, and you can't kill it. It just keeps mutating and changing and getting stronger and more hostile.
Who's the confidant of Joel Rifkin? Kind of him you hooked up with?
A buddy of mine named Roger. He just likes to be called Roger, and he works for Current Affair. And he, matter of fact, it's a little bit of trivia. He's the one on the first Twisted album, the song called Run For Your Life.
Mm-hmm.
It's about Roger. Roger should probably be inside himself, and he's legally insane. But he works for Current Affair, in a perfect place for him. And he's just been developing a story with Joel Rifkin, and he's been like has hundreds of hours of interviews with Joel over the past like year, hundreds of hours of tapes. And he shared some of those tapes with me and allowed me to get some insight into, you know, what this guy's all about. Interestingly enough, very similar to my own upbringing. Thank God I found music. I haven't killed anybody yet, but I am willing to learn, so it's early yet.
Maybe we should go soon.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
That's the new single.
Yeah, Killing Time is the new one. We haven't done a video for it yet. But I don't put as much stock into video as I did in
well, you've got outlets to play. You know?
Yes, yeah, MTV, who seems to have forgotten what the M stands for. Does anybody remember music?
Headbangers Ball.
Headbangers Ball, the new thing, Super Rock.
Yeah.
I just checked it out.
Super Rock.
Super Rock. Which sounds to me like the Super Rock. From what I haven't seen it yet, but Bon Jovi's on Super Rock. I haven't seen it yet, but it sounds to me like they couldn't figure out how to get rid of Ricky Rackman. So it's like, you know, any musicians out there have a band and you want to get rid of one guy, so you break the band up and then you get back together without him. It sounds like Super Rock is Headbangers Ball without Ricky. Gee, I wonder why.
Well, it's like a slash alternative slash rap slash whatever show.
Yeah, well, but it's still harder. It's supposed to be the hardest.
Yeah.
Which is what Headbangers Ball was becoming anyway. You know, I guess Ricky couldn't keep up with the wardrobe changes. I'm a Chicano today, and next week I got to pull out my sleeves, tattoo sleeves. Hey, what are you guys in LA going to do with those shirts of tattoos now? You went that, you had it done in one day because it was like in this week, and now what? Now what? You know, you're going to look like an 80? It's going to be funny. Very blue. Okay, anyways, where was I? But video, like, you know, in the 80s, you spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on video. And, you know, people say that, you know, Twisted, and I wrote the videos, that we were responsible for major changes in the whole video thing, and a lot of the classic videos, and, you know, are Twisted videos. But now, I don't even think about videos. I mean, when we do a video, don't think about it. I want to do a video show myself, but to spend that kind of money, you just don't get the coverage you used to.
It's different now than when we
Yeah, so
those Twisted videos really spawned that publicity.
Oh yeah, I mean, all the changed video in general. You know, there's major changes in people's approach to video after the Twisted videos. But I mean, now it's the 90s. I'm more concerned with what's on the album. I'm concerned with what's on the stage. You know, people ask me what the major difference between Twisted and Widowmaker is, and basically, Twisted was video first, Freudian, so image first, and everything was, you know, the image was first, music second.
Mm-hmm.
With Widowmaker, music first and foremost, everything else is secondary.
Do you think the way that image created that media monster, did that like speed up the demise of Twisted, do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I didn't know it. I mean, I never thought Twisted would be as accepted as it was.
I think you mentioned to me in another interview that you didn't have a publicist thing.
No. Everybody said, "Whoa, who's your publicist?" Nobody. You know, we had someone going, "Yes, he'll do it. Yes, he'll do it. Yes, he'll do it." And I was on a mission. I was on a mission to bring metal to the mainstream for positive reasons. I just felt that metal never had its just, you know, got its props, as Biohazard would say. No Biohazard giving its props to the almighty Black Sabbath, motherfucker. I love those guys. But, you know, and I just said, man, you know, metal deserves to be on MTV all the time and radio all the time, and it should be everywhere. You know, it deserves that recognition. It's the shit. And now I know I can curse. I'm going to now the lid's off. It may need a little editing. But I realized that ultimately I overexposed myself, I overexposed my band, and if I had succeeded, which I didn't, if I had succeeded in bringing metal to the mainstream, I would have killed it. The thing I love more than anything, I would have killed, because it's that overexposure that killed Twisted, and it would have killed metal. The reason why metal has lasted 25 years, or hard rock, or heavy music, whatever you want to call it, it's lasted 25 years because it's never really made it to the mainstream. Every time it became really popular, it falls back. Unlike disco or new wave or any of these other forms of music that burn out.
It's kind of the current trend now, back to the clubs, kind of basic.
Oh, and it's getting ready for, now it's rejuvenated with the new influences. It got predictable and played out in the end of the 80s, formulated, you know, everybody knew exactly how to hit metal record, and then it just crashed and burned, but now it's like rising out of the ashes with all the new influences, and it's getting ready for a new onslaught, a new peak. There's been many peaks and valleys for metal, and you know, in '85, I was there with a new wave of metal coming up then, and I'm happy to be in '95. I feel like I'm part of the scene and part of what's going on now.